We'd like to welcome each and every individual to Voices of Integrity podcast for the Top Gun Sales Bootcamp training, and let's dive right in. Nora, what you got?
My percentage for yesterday was 59.
Nice. All right, so you're back up where were before. That's good. Did you figure anything out?
Um,
Okay. Anything you want to share or ask questions about or reflect on or anything?
um, I don't know. See, because now it's like, I don't know, because I was like, well, I'm gonna change my script. But now, like, I'm getting all these callbacks from people that I use my original script on. And I had a client that had done a business X-ray, and I kind of just like left him. I'd called him a couple times just to like check up and stuff, and then I kind of just like left him alone. And then he like calls me last night. I called him yesterday about the coffee connection and invited him there and didn't even say anything about, the business x-ray or whatever. And then he calls me back and then he's like asking questions about Action Vision and like is thinking that he's going on it now, which is just interesting to me. So I don't know. So now I'm confused because I don't.
So, do you know why I treat Luke the way I do?
Why.
Because I think that that's what it takes for him to be successful. And
Okay.
so if I praise him, he's like some of like my wife at times, my kids, where, he does a happy dance and like, yeah, yeah, I've made it. And it's like, no, 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 no. You now know how to do 2 plus 2. Now you got to do 4 plus 4. So I sense with him, I sense with him that he just needs to be get the crap beat out of him. Um, Otherwise, and because he won't stay tight. He won't stay like he's a string on the violin that's loose. It just gets loose. Questions? Anyone?
How does that tie back into my situation?
So this is what I like about Nora. This is See, Nora can connect dots. Most people can't. Like so um I don't know who I was talking to, maybe Mike, maybe somebody else, where somewhere it's like you want people to figure things out for themselves. And so like Luke, I think Luke realizes he has an addiction to lazy. Do you, Luke, or not?
To an extent, yes.
And so have you ever thought about that for yourself, Nora, or not?
Yeah, all the time.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Wow. In the year plus that I've known you, I don't think I've ever heard you know express that. That it wasn't.
Interesting.
What's that?
Interesting.
So yeah. Um, so so it's like you're looking for there's nothing I can do. Like if I don't call people, they'll call me back. Like they'll pursue me. Like it's almost like you're looking for how can you just be rather than growing. How can you just like, yeah, I didn't know, don't know what happened. It just, I just sit back and let it happen. It's like, I don't know, maybe that'll work for you. It hasn't for me. So I'm looking for things that I can control and take ownership of, and then say, I made this mistake and this mistake and this mistake and this mistake and this mistake. Because if I messed up on this, and it's almost like with you, it's almost like, yeah, I don't know, nothing I could have done. Well, that's not good, because then it's going to happen again. Now, in pickleball, it's fascinating to me on how pickleball changed my life and how significant. And so I play a lot of pickleball. In the last, few days I've played, normally I'm losing maybe 0 or 1, maybe 2, but most of the time, out of, I don't know, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games, but I've lost a lot of games, and some pickled, I mean, just gotten destroyed. And so I can feel the energies off with me. Now, some of it's without question, it's the pairing, it's the who I'm paired with, without question. And so, like, energy and controlling energy, and there's almost like, I don't care if I win or lose. It's a game. What do I care? When I have that attitude, I'm gonna lose more games. I just will. Now, people might like playing with me more, which is interesting because, I play with some pretty good people. And so I thought, I wonder if they're stopping. I wonder if, because the last couple of weeks, man, I just crushed it. I mean, everybody's talking about how amazing I am and how fast and all this stuff. And I'm like, I wonder if they're not going to want to play with me anymore, because like, Mark, you never lose. They're joking about it, but I'm like, do they, like, maybe I'm getting too good for this group. And I've tried to get another group a little bit, higher level group maybe. But so it's almost like, so it's the quantity of effort you do and the quality of effort you do, the combination of both. And so if your heart's not in it, so how do you get your heart in it? So you want to have the ability to control things. You don't control things. Like, I was going through a really rough time with one of my kids when they were teenagers, young adults, and Ralph Miller said, Mark, control the things that God's given you the ability to control, and don't control the things that God's supposed to control. So God's given you responsibility, and you control those things. Don't have God do your job, and don't try to do God's job. And that was just like, it was music. I'm like, oh my goodness, that's amazing, Ralph. Like, that's crazy. Like, so I'm not supposed to, and again, you guys might say, well, I already knew that. Okay, well, yeah, I'm a little slow. But it was so profound to me. So I'd have been in my 40s, mid 40s, when I'm like, that makes a lot of, like, God's given you responsibilities. Don't go ahead and have God do what you're supposed to do. Like, you're supposed to do things. And don't try to do what God's supposed to do. I got all excited. I'm like, that's exactly what I needed. That's perfect. Like Ralph, and he's in his 70s, probably mid 60s, early 70s. And I'm like, so excited. Like, wow, Ralph, that's crazy cool. How do I know the difference? He's like, oh, I don't know that. I'm like, really? And so what I did is I visualized, like, with my kids, I change diapers, not a problem. Grandkids, if needed, I'll change diapers with kids. But, if there's others, that'll do it, they do it. The ladies typically do it, and that's fine. But I thought, if I'm the only one to internalize it, I'm like, okay, so how am I going to internalize that? Well, if I'm the only one, like if I'm watching one of my grandkids now, back then it was, one of my kids, but if I'm watching one of my grandkids now and I'm the only one there to watch the babies and care for them and they have a dirty diaper, I'm not going to be like, well, I'm going to trust God to do that. That's not going to work. Like, that's not going to work. They're going to have diaper rash. This is not going to be good. So you have to do that, Mark. And then I'm like, okay, but where it gets messy, like that's obvious, it's black and white. God could change a diaper, but don't think he's going to. And so with kids, it's like, well, how much? Like my guess is Nora's given it a lot of thought where, she's like, well, they're adults. Okay, what does that mean? Like, I mean, do you just so once your kids get out, like Lincoln, he's 3, and so Nora has to do certain things as a mom for him. Like she has to, but he's getting 3, so there's some things he can do, some things he can't do. A lot of them aren't clear, can he or can't he? And that's where you're in growing. And so my thought is like with God, God gives us ever expanding capability to do things. Like if I could get to that young man that I guess ran away, I don't know the full story. If I could get to that young man, I potentially could go ahead and help him, potentially save his life if I could get to him. And so I have the capacity, the capability. So as we grow, we have more capability. So you want in sales, you want to like what you can control. And if your mojo, if you're not in the groove, I mean, sometimes like I took you guys know the story. I took an hour off and cried, but it was an hour. It wasn't a day. It wasn't a week. It wasn't a month. So I mean, sometimes you sit, I guess you take some time off, you take breath, you do whatever. But if we're lazy, the brain will go ahead and just say, the brain will go ahead and I don't know if we can get addicted, like the addicted to lazy, that would be a good link to have in here. It would also be good to have the alcohol one from the guy in prison talking about alcohol and how the brain works. Like the brain is naturally lazy. And so that's why alcohol and drugs and all that stuff, it's so addictive because the brain gets the dopamine hit without a lot of work and procrastination too. So good work on turning it around. What you want to do is how do you turn it around faster? And sometimes looking at the data, like know your data, this is really cool here, and we'll get better at it. And so, here you have this here. So if I go ahead and take out, Luke and Kenny and just have Nora, you can see trends on daily stuff that's going on. So there's a good chance, Nora, that I mean that one that you got was from one of these spikes in the past. So how do you go ahead and here you have this, so you might still be getting a residual, but this stuff here, you won't get that residual going in the future. So charts and graphs and the PPA is just absolutely amazing. Kenny, what you got?
What I'm thinking is something to do with like do something on a daily time. So once a day, do something consistently as far as sales calls, things like that, and how to the bit. But not to get started on that, but how to get that locked in.
So 7, 8 years ago, hit another hard patch in the business, and my main business, Synergy Solutions. And I don't know if I'm going to make it through this. I'm not sure if I'm going to make it through this patch. So what I did is I said minimum is I'm going to make 3 sales calls a day. I mean, it's 10, 15 minutes unless it's a good one. So you have a ceiling, and that's your goal, and then you have a commitment. So here's the ceiling, here's the floor. Like, I'm not going to go below this. And so all 3 of you have had, pretty fast, very fast success, which I'm happy for. The downside is you haven't had the struggles that I had when I was in my 20s. And so those struggles build faith. Those struggles build discipline. Those struggles build wisdom and a whole bunch of things. So how do you transfer over those experiences? How do you feel the pain that I felt? Because at some point in life, your business is probably going to hit that. Same thing with Amy. Like, that'd be a great question to ask her, Nora, Amy and I, like, jeepers. So you come up with a floor and you say the minimum that I'm going to do, Kenny, and you just, like the guy with Tom Kuntz, the guy with 7 business cards in his pocket, and you just never allow yourself to go ahead and come up with a reason why you don't do the minimum. Questions, Kenny?
Got it. Yep, that makes sense. No.
So Kenny has another question, but he doesn't know what the question is. Can any of you help him? This is something that's interesting to me, how long it takes people to process things. So in sales, your mind's got to be sharp. Like, you've got to be fast. Yesterday in one of the games, my partner set up the the others, and man, he spiked it, and I got it back, spiked it again, got it back, spiked it again, got it back. And so they were like, holy cow, Mark, your reflexes, it's crazy. In sales, your mental reflexes, I was talking to Mike after pickleball yesterday, and I said, I think my mental is helping me a lot at 62. A lot of people say, you don't play like you're 62. You don't, like, your mind, like, it's weird on your body. I think your mind and body, they're connected together. And so, I would, in the future, I would say, do a quick process in your brain and say, do you come up with something for Kenny and then if not, you just say no. So any of you can help Kenny on what he could ask me? What's that?
I said no.
Okay. So with Luke, like, I just think I got to beat the crap out of him. So I don't like to do it. I don't want to do it. I want Luke to grow up and be disciplined enough where he does it himself. So that's the goal. It's like leverage. And so I've said something to you guys about going through another course. Are you guys on that? Or are you just like, okay. So with Luke, I figured out a process. I don't like it, and it's getting better, I think, but I know what to do. And so I have a strategy for Luke. Well, what's your strategy for Kenny? You've known him twice as long as you have Luke. And I don't have a strategy for Kenny. I don't know. He's a mystery to me. So when Angela, my youngest daughter, and I were out in Oregon, we were talking and some about Kenny, and she went ahead and said, well, you really get along with him or something, something. He must be same person. He's probably same personality you are. I'm like, actually, he's not. He's opposite of me. He's more opposite of me than my wife is. And Angela said, "Really, Dad?" And I said, "Yeah." She's like, how do you guys get along so well? I'm like, well, it's kind of on and off. So Kenny's on right now, and which is really cool. I mean, it's neat to be able to go ahead. It's neat when you're in flow. So we're in flow, but if we had this here, something in our friendship, it would be way up and way down. And it's hard. These roller coasters, and I don't know, I think it's when people are growing. If people are growing, I think, if people are growing, I'm in flow with them. And if they're not, I'm not. I'm just like, you know what? They're stuck. They're just stuck. And so, hope they make it out of being stuck. But some people never do. They never get out of the car. Luke, what you got?
So yesterday, sometime we were talking about submitting a bid before the other people meet. I wanted to bring that up again.
So, so there's multiple different ways that you can approach it. Have you thought the pros and the cons of doing that?
Well, I came up with some cons.
I would go ahead and write down your pros of doing it. They call it a T chart in decision making. So it's an accounting term where you go ahead and put a big T on a piece of paper, and you say pros and then cons. And what you're doing is you're looking at developing your brain to where your brain has reflexes. And so I would go ahead and work at that and then bring that tomorrow.
Got it.
And so here on your pressure points, do you guys know how you go ahead and have more talk tos than you do calls?
When people call in.
So the calls are not outbound calls, they're just calls.
Gotcha.
And it's not necessarily phone calls, I guess. I mean, you could ideally, I don't, so if somebody calls you, it's still a call. It's not outbound calls, it's just a call. So you can count that. And then,
Gotcha.
you talk to. And so from the talk to, and then here is a new thing. I don't know if Nora knows how to do it. We could potentially do it at another time. But these can now be changed, I believe. So Shuaib, so you guys could go ahead and customize these, rather than 30-minute and X-ray and AV, you could put what you want. Ideally, you'd both have the same. So you can now customize these here. So you've got, so from here to here, Kenny's at 80%, you're at 23%. And then here it's 50. Okay, so it's close, and here is interesting. So what do you guys see between Kenny's and Luke's? Likely. So likely, because Kenny's not keeping up on his numbers. I mean, he's not doing as much as he used to do. So his quantity is not going to be as high. His quantity is not going to be as high as Luke's because he's not doing it like Luke is. And then hopefully you're putting in time tracking, because if you put in time tracking, some of the new pieces that are going to be in the PPA are going to be pretty wild on what it'll measure on productivity. You'll have some productivity measurement that then could go ahead and look at. And so I told Nora yesterday or a few days ago, I said, if your head's not in the game, you probably are going to have to work harder. You're probably going to have to work harder.
We're at the job site now, so I'm just gonna.
Yep. We'll see you. Thanks, buddy.
Yep. Yep.
And so now, should Nora go ahead and, like, if Nora flies, if she does flying, does her numbers go up? Does she get better? Like flying might be the dopamine hit that helps her, that motivates her. Like, if I do this, if I get to this, I'm going to get rewarded. There's nothing wrong with that. But what she wants to do is become so mentally strong that she can artificially give the dopamine hit of flying when she's not. That's for all of us. How can I get my head in the game when I don't feel like having my head in the game? So there's some cool stuff. There is knowledge without question in sales. Without question, there's knowledge. But there's as much, if not more, discipline that's required in sales. We know what we need to be doing. We're just not doing it. If somebody says, I can't tell you how many people say, well, I don't know if I need, action vision coaching. You do. Just say it. It's like, you do. Are you ready for it? You might not be. Like you might, yeah, we'll tell you. Yeah, no. So if somebody says, well, I know I should be doing I know what I should be doing, I'm just not doing it. No, there's 3 reasons why you're not doing what you know you should be doing. And reason 1 is because you don't know the full benefit of doing that behavior. 2 is you don't know the full cost of not doing that behavior. It seems to me that Nora has really internalized the domino principle, which is really sweet. That's really cool. So you don't know the full benefit of doing it. You don't know the full cost of not doing it, or you don't know how to get it done with your current bandwidth, your current capability. And so, anybody else have anything else? All right. You guys are awesome. Always remember, we can accomplish so much more together than we ever could on our own. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye.